How we doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have another wonderful viewer submission here today. So, in Runeterra, generally speaking, um, decks play the full 6 champions that you're allotted. However, there are some corner cases like this deck here where you play fewer than those. And Entreat, this Freljord card, is one of the biggest reasons you'll see people play fewer than 6 champions. So Entreat here, 2 mana burst spell, explicitly draws a champion out of your deck. So Entreat basically lets us play 6 virtual copies of the same champion. So with 3 copies of Entreat here, we basically have 6 copies of Teemo, which is the only champion we're playing. So Teemo here, 1/1 elusive, so good aggressive champ. On Nexus Strike, plants 5 poison puff caps in the enemy's deck, which these are trap cards that when your opponent draws a card with a puff cap on it, they take a damage. And then Teemo levels up when you've planted 15 plus puff caps, and his leveled mode doubles the amount of puff caps in the enemy deck on strike. So in addition to Teemo planting puff caps, we're playing some mushroom clouds in here. We've got Clump of Wumps, which summons mushroom clouds. We've got Chump Wump, which makes 2 mushroom clouds. We've got what's his name? We got Puff Cap Peddler that makes lots of puff caps when you cast spells. So interested to see how this one goes. Some initial thoughts at a glance. So generally speaking, unless something's super glaring, I play things card for card that people have submitted. You have fun, bud. All right, so a couple of thoughts on this as I'm going in. The first is that while we have harsh winds here at the top end of the curve, I wonder if not playing Frostbite is correct against Lee Sin. My other thought is with our various Clump of Wumps and Chump Wump and Insightful Investigator making fleeting cards, I wonder if playing 0 copies of Rummage is correct. So those are the 2 things I'm going to want to kind of think about as we're starting to play some games here is, are there spots where Rummage could fit in here, as well as is Frostbite something we're interested in playing? I don't know the answer to that question, actually. I think it means plant X more puff caps. Like, I don't think it just doubles the ones in the cards they're already on. I'm pretty sure it just plants more into their deck, if I'm certain. I did pop it. Yeah, excited not only for the new cards to be coming out. I honestly wasn't, like, I know they said October, but I honestly wasn't expecting the card release to be in the middle of October, which is awesome. And what's the other word that I'm searching for? In addition to it being in October and then hitting them that deadline, like spectator mode coming soon and tournament support is also really awesome. Alright, so shared spoils here is not stellar without something aggressive to start with. They're playing Misfortune and Gangplank. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan these. I saw someone in chat wondering aloud what format Runeterra plans to use for their tournaments, and I would assume that they intend to use the 3 decks ban 1 format that they recently implemented into the client. I feel like it wouldn't make sense for them to have implemented that into the client if they weren't planning to use it for their tournaments. Question for you, if you're other answer, I understand. Do you get any financial upside from viewer count, or is it mainly through subscription? I asked because I leave the stream up while I work, but I just have it muted. So, viewer count's not completely meaningless. Like, being higher in the viewer count helps you reach more potential people, but the bulk of my income comes from sub count. So, even though, for example, Runeterra has less viewers on average for me than Magic, if my sub count can stay somewhat the same, it's about a wash for me. Like, that's the number that matters. That's what pays my metrics. That's what pays my metrics, my mortgage. The other thing to comment on, if you mute Twitch, and this is a good trick if you want to support especially smaller Twitch streamers, if you mute a Twitch stream using the mute button on what's what I'm searching for? Using the mute button on Twitch, you don't count as a viewer if it's muted that way. But if you right-click on your browser tab and tell it to mute the browser tab, like have Google Chrome mute it as opposed to telling Twitch to mute it, you still count as a viewer that way. Target dummy for the mods. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. I appreciate that. I think if they attack with Misfortune, I'll trade these. I don't think I want to trade Puffcat Peddler for this, though. That's a good ways to support creators that you like if you're watching on mute. You count as a Twitch viewer if you mute the tab. You don't count as a Twitch viewer if you mute the what's it called. All right, so with these double mushroom clouds in hand, I could go ahead and play Teemo here, and then we can double cloud them and level this up. I don't know the answer to that propaganda. Offhand, actually.
No one's the wiser.
I think I'm okay attacking this into here. I'm also pretty... I don't really want to attack this into these two, because if they block, I then can't block Misfortune next turn because of her trigger.
You got legs. Use them. Starts with mushrooms. I have my orders.
So, opponent's got 32 buff caps and 32 cards now here. The problem is they've got a lot of pressure on board, and like this is an X1. That's a Gangplank.
Fresh out of mercy.
I think we might be dead, chat. I'm not blocking with Teemo here because my out here is definitely them drawing an incredible number of mushrooms, right? 48 puff caps. Alright, so I'm pretty sure we just put as many puff caps into their deck as possible here, and then hope to high roll them. So we're going to put them up to 116 puff caps here. They'll be at 16. And then we can play Veteran Investigator to make us both draw. So we need to deal 16 damage off of 2 draws here. Oh, 3 draws. This draws a card. Okay. Oh-ho! We're halfway there. Oh-ho! They gonna burn us out here? They have a deal 3? They probably have a deal 3 they drew with this. Oh, I didn't put the Teemo emote on my lineup. What a punt. Alright, let's fix our emote lineup here real quick. Faltos, thank you for the 20 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. This is why we lost, by the way. I didn't have this emote in my lineup here. You need that emoticon is required to play Teemo. He's a pay-to-win card. You gotta have that emote to get extra lucky. Faltos, thanks for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, we lost on the meta level by failing to prepare our emotes appropriately. Pseudo Pally, thank you for the quarter of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Nope, Kanjo. I'm playing Runeterra stuff because I like it as a game, not because Riot sponsors the stream. So this is a virtual Teemo. I think I don't want Investigator, especially against the burn deck, until we get much later into the game, once we load their deck up with mushrooms. I think this is a fine early blocker, and then Starlit Seer is excellent. Makes top card in our deck bigger while we play. You think you'll try to make the Runeterra Winter seasonal tournament? Probably not. Well, let's rephrase. I don't think I will make an effort to grind the ladder to qualify for their tournament, but I will probably, if they said there would be a way, I believe, to qualify without just the ladder. Maybe they're gonna have qualifiers or something like that, and I'll probably play those. But like try-harding on the ladder makes it kind of hard to do consistently good and fun content in my experience. And like one of the ways in which I monetize my stream is players paying me. You can play and win in a special gauntlet. Okay, yeah. So the playing in a gauntlet is something I will probably do, but I don't expect to try hard rank and like worry about people ghosting or like only playing best decks, because like a lot of what we do here is trying to focus on playing sweet and interesting decks, and I don't really want to change that to try and qualify for a tournament. It's important to remember that, like, while Runeterra definitely has more player agency than things like Magic does on average, it's still a card game, right? And just because you're trying and you're playing well doesn't mean you're necessarily going to qualify. So my general focus here on stream is always going to be playing games for fun. That's rude. That's fine. We have Entreat here for another Teemo. So I think my plan next turn is to go like double Starlit Seer, and then the following turn we can go Entreat, Teemo, Mushroom Cloud. I don't know what you're referring to, DTC. So these are fearsome, so unfortunately can't block these. This is fine. We'll go to 9. These will die. We'll keep these alive. 9 is like, we're not quite in the danger zone yet, but we're getting there. Do I want to play Eager Apprentice? It's basically free, right? Because it refills 2 spell mana, and I'm going to use spell mana this turn.
Remember the objectives.
Thanks, Wrist.
Few for the many.
Metrics allowing, I'd like to continue doing Runeterra stuff. Right, my intention for October is to try and see if I can do content as a job without doing Magic stuff, and if that looks like it's going to be the case, I intend to continue doing Runeterra every morning through the end of the year at the very least. Alright, so I don't think I want to attack this into their 2-3. I think I'm just going to hit them with this. We are at 5 now. I mentioned 9 wasn't quite the danger zone, but 5 definitely is. We're definitely in range of getting burned out by 1 to 2 cards here, and I don't quite have enough mushrooms in their deck to be anywhere near lethal just yet.
Investigating officer, Unit 6.
Unit 6. Yep, I was just about to say their deck plays things like Decimate, so down to 1.
More for my collection.
So haven't really, our next unit that we draw is going to be huge, but we might not get a chance to utilize it. So this goes here, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. We are at 1 though, and like they're at 18 and only have 50 buff caps. It looks like we're gonna be at a spot similar to where we were last game, where like need to dodge for a turn or two, and their deck has a lot of reach in it too. These noxious base burn decks are very good right now. I assume that emote means we're dead. Yeah, some amount of innkeeper is not a terrible idea. There's definitely a lot of noxious burn on the ladder at the moment. Like two games in a row where had we had a little bit more. I cut these trail of evidence. Not that we would have drawn Cavern Keeper there, because we never drew trail of evidence, but I think that probably makes sense. I mean, believe it or not, avid Magic player, going into work every day is a lot more fun when you don't feel like crap about your job. to set a low bar. This is a virtual Teemo. They are playing the deep. And this is the other tough part too, right? Like, making changes can also be tough in some instances, because like here, I made a change, and now like we're playing against the deep, where Innkeeper is not particularly good. Any thoughts on the new landmark cards? The specific landmark card they spoiled seems sweet. I'll be interested to see what kind of designs they do with them, because there is some amount of concern, I think, that, there's some amount of concern that introducing different card types can create some polarized games, so I'm interested to see how they balance that, and they balance the amount of interactivity there is with cards like landmarks. Quintivus Flavius, thank you for the 18 months. Welcome back. I appreciate the year and a half. Feeling like crap about your job's the American way. And a lot of times it feels like it. Yeah, I'm doing this. This month is me being very un-American. I'm electing to give up income for the sake of being happier with my job. So that's why we're playing Runeterra instead of Magic this month. It's incredibly un-American of me, and I apologize. What time will I be streaming Baldur's Gate 3 tomorrow? So, my variety segments are at 7 p.m. Central. So 7 to 10 p.m. Tuesday and Wednesday. I plan to do Baldur's Gate 3 this week. Is that even legal? It's good. Hey, look, Mystic Shot will be good. Get to kill this before it gets to Lifesteal or hit me. Sounds good. Thanks, Quintivus. I appreciate that. What kind of game is Baldur's Gate 3? It is a Dungeons and Dragons based RPG where the combat is turn-based on a grid usually.
This would be a good winter.
Alright, so I get to bank a spell mana here, and then we go up to 6 total mana, so I can actually go ahead and chump Wump here, and then double Mushroom Cloud to level Teemo.
I love the smell of mushrooms in the morning.
You love the smell of mushrooms in the morning, chat? Morning, Aiden.
Snow and stars.
Think I want to trade this for this? Actually, am I okay with that? Yeah, let's offer that trade. And again, ordering on your attacks mattering here. I'm going to lead with the Starlit Seer, because if they block here, they'll only life gain up to 20, because there's a hard cap at 20 life in Runeterra. So putting this first means if they want to trade, they lose out on 1 point of life. Must be gearing up for another deal one here, I assume. So there are now 26 puff caps and 17 cards for them. That's a 7/7 puff cap peddler, chat. Yeah, no worries, MB. And part of me taking a full month off of Magic is checking to see how many people are here for Magic and how many people are just here because they like what I'm doing in general on Twitch. So I appreciate people speaking with their wallets, and I'm going to take that into consideration when I decide if I want to make more Magic stuff. For full transparency, my current plans are, if just Runeterra and variety stuff can keep me full-time, I don't plan to go back to doing more Magic. But we'll see. It's hard to know. A lot of uncertainty. Alright, I don't want to sequence my attackers here. They're at 16, so it probably doesn't matter. I'm kind of expecting this to die in combat, which is sad. Maybe I start the turn by Mystic Shotting this and see what they do. Because they might kill this before I go to attacks. And if they kill this before I go to attacks, I intend to Entreat and get another Teemo. Yeah, this is perfect. Yeah, this works out really well.
This would be a good winter. An auspicious season.
Prepared for anything.
What's Twisted Diana? You can always see whatever decks are coming up later in the stream by checking out the deck queue on my website there.
Runaway bike.
I'm going to attack with the 7/6 first. That way if they chump block with this and heal 2.
Adventure starts with mushrooms.
Adventure start with Mushroom. They have 48 puff caps and 12 cards, chat.
Subterfuge, hidden clues. It's all here.
Subterfuge, hidden clues. Did I play the 2-drop here? Nah, I don't think so. I think we could probably get more puff caps into their deck at this point. It's a bold strategy, chat. Nah, if I'm being completely honest, the secret layer thing didn't have any bearing on my decision. I don't really care about stuff like that.
Indeed. Take a look at this.
Teemo.
Just in time. I found something.
When do I plan on doing the survey for variety games? You mean for the variety games for the following week, Fox? Probably Thursday I plan to send it out. I wanna play Baldur's Gate 3 before I send it out to see if that's what I want to play more of. I'm expecting that it will be, but I want to be sure. There's no list for that deck. Oh, did I not paste it in there? Oh, jeez. I have fixed past Jeff's mistake. There's now a link in there. Thanks for the heads up. Damn you, past Jeff. Yeah, Breath of the Wild was really good. Definitely enjoyed it. Huh? Act 1 of Baldur's Gate 3 goes into early access tomorrow. So, even though these mushroom clouds are really good with Teemo, and they're okay with Starlit Seer, the fact that they're playing Bilgewater Burn here, I think means I'm supposed to mulligan these. So I think it's incredibly likely that Teemo dies here. So I think I'd like to mulligan these kind of individually weak cards, looking for some other cards that'll be better if this dies, because it's likely to. Yeah, like they often play Parlay. They definitely have Make It Rain. There's a lot of cards they have that end up with Teemo getting killed. Well, you know. I don't really intend to get into another gacha game, dude. Light. Someone else mentioned that. That's Genshin Impact or whatever it's called, right? There, Waterbender. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. Someone else had asked a second ago what was part of the reason why I decided to move away from Magic, and if I'm being honest, promoting the monetization magic that Arena has feels kind of bad. And I'd like to move away from, like, if I can do this and not promote companies that have bad business practices like that, I'd prefer to do it. All right, I mean, well, this works out okay, right? So we have to go ahead and level him and then crack them for 2 and double up the puff caps in their deck. There's a lot to like about Runeterra, but the fact that, like, their business model isn't super consumer unfriendly is definitely a big up. Thanks, Kicker. Yeah, so I was originally going to send out a survey at the start of this month. I'm going to wait a couple of weeks for the October sub-survey so we can get a couple of weeks into doing Runeterra stuff and doing variety stuff before I gauge feedback on that. And one of the questions on my survey is going to be a very pointed, hey, do you intend to drop your sub if I stop playing Magic?
Do whatever's needed.
That's super unfortunate. You know, because of this keg was kind of indicative of Make It Rain. I probably should have played the 2/3 first. Yeah, we might be able to race them with the second Teemo and doubling things up here. I agree. Especially with the extra draw from Investigator.
Victory at any cost. Best not ruffle our feathers.
Best not ruffle our feathers.
Run while you can.
I don't expect to not have people who are obnoxious in places, Blake. Like, the fact that I moderate, there's a lot of people who take issue with the fact that I'm willing to ban and block people.
2, 3, 4.
It's just, I don't know. I don't intend to stop moderating my channel or stop moderating my social media. And that'll always rub some people the wrong way, but they can get over it. Yeah, for the most part, right? Like random Magic players being petty isn't the big thing that puts me off Magic from that perspective. It's more Wizards as a company being petty. That's extra frustrating to me as a content creator. There's 20 puff caps up to 56. I think I'm playing this. A good quote and something I kind of try to live by is, I'd rather make something that 5 people love rather than something that 50 people are indifferent to. And you really just can't please everyone, and I'd rather focus on making something that I enjoy and managing my stuff in a way that makes me and a specific set of people happy rather than trying to appeal to everyone. I spent $112 on this game, $65 on cards. I own almost all of it. I'm like 94%. And the rest I spent on cosmetics. Yeah, cosmetics are lovely. Lovely.
I rarely forget.
Hey, look at that, chat. That is a chump wump big enough to tango with Gangplank, huh? It's exciting.
Break their legs. Who's falling for blood?
So really, really easy blocks here on our part.
Excuse you.
We're stabilizing at 8 here, which is reasonable. That is a great pickup here. This is exactly the style of matchup why we added a couple of Tavern Keepers to the deck, right? Siren, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Deal.
Nothing like the great outdoors.
Who's angry for action, eh?
I love the smell of mushrooms in the morning.
Okay, so this is going to put them up to 120 puff caps in 27 cards. They're at 5. Yeah, I agree, Jace. My content is better when I'm enjoying what I do.
For the Empire.
That being said, I also definitely think there's a subset of people who enjoy watching people on Twitch be miserable. So, you know. I think my content is better when I'm enjoying it, but there's definitely still an audience there. Nailed it. Definitely still an audience there for people not being happy.
We did it together.
Pete Kirky. Yeah, I think that's kind of his shtick. Yeah, there's some people that enjoy someone being kind of masochistic. So again, if you're just joining us, the puff caps that Teemo and these other cards plant, they get attached to cards in my opponent's deck, and then when they draw a card with a puff cap on it, they take 1 damage for every puff cap on it. Yeah, I think Croakys plays into it very well. He's a very good entertainer. It is not a mistake that Croakys is the most popular Magic streamer by a significant margin. He's very good at what he does. Alright, so Twisted Fate Gangplank could be something aggressively slanted, but Twisted Fate kind of implies they might be more mid-rangey. It could be something similar to the Misfortune deck, though. I think I'm mulliganing these two. I'm going to keep Teemo and backup Teemo. Yeah, I don't know if this archetype we're playing is strictly optimal, but it's definitely a lot of fun. The mushroom archetypes, having good draws off of your deck and your opponent's deck tends to be a lot of fun.
Great outdoors.
The dead don't need riches.
What about third Teemo? Third Teemo is good because, as someone just mentioned, Twisted Fate is good at killing Teemo. I'm opening on attacks here because if my opponent has Make It Rain, I don't want them to Make It Rain, Eager Apprentice, and this ideally. Well, they were patient on their Make It Rain. Whew. Ha! Nice, Wolfwood. Well, welcome to Runeterra. I hope you enjoy it. Game's a lot of fun.
All hands on deck.
Thanks, Juka. Yeah, I was sitting down to get ready to stream last night, and I was like, yeah, I've been meaning to make this. Let's just sit down and hammer it out.
Sure, boss.
I mean, Croaky's chat is just like any other large unmoderated Twitch chat. For better or worse. Alright. Another matchup for Tavern Keeper's looking good. Think I offer this trade here?
Easy, Tiger.
It's not even just Magic chat unmoderated, just any large Twitch chat tends to devolve into kind of a crap show.
I'm not greedy. My friends, though.
First day on the job, the gun's real.
So this says every time we play a 2-cost card,
I've got questions.
it gets fleeting. We draw another card with fleeting, so we'll get to do that. And now we'll play Starlit Seer, which will draw us a card. We get politically at this morning. We haven't. Was there political news that I missed?
Never lost a fair game. Or played one.
I don't think I want to entreat in response here.
Who says I don't share?
Motive?
Officer J.S. Hawklaw.
Evening, officer.
This would be a good winter.
Opponent's got a lot of cards in hand here still. This is one of the downsides of the deck that we're playing at this point, is that, like, we have a number of lower quality cards in it. Suppose we could just pick up Teemo here, huh?
Blessed by
We're still only on 5 puff caps in their deck, though. Oh, if I would have entreated, I could have opened on attacks this turn. Yeah, that's a good thought. I think we're probably dead at this point. Opponent's just up too much on cards. Like, we're like marginally ahead on board here, but not by a significant margin.
My selection speaks for itself. How about another round?
Yeah, we're just too far behind here. One thing that I think is probably worth exploring with the recent Bastion buff. With the recent Bastion buff, I think Teemo with Bastion is probably something that's worth checking out. Getting Teemo with Spell Shield and +1/+1 sounds good. Zed Leeson. I'm gonna mulligan these two, looking for a Teemo, I think. And keep this 2-3 curve. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. Curving right on out the door. Can we race the combo deck? So, Leeson is the current tiered combo deck in this game. It's pretty difficult to interact with. I kind of expect them to balance change this in one of the upcoming patches. This card basically double strikes you as an unblockable unit when it gets set up in the mid-game.
Doesn't mean everything.
Yeah, that's just really slow though, Martian. Who's your second champion you play Targaryen? I don't know. Do I level Teemo here? I kind of want to just level Teemo here.
Grow free. Success is planting your mushroom crop.
So that puts them up to 15, and then if they don't have a stun or a hush here, we'll get them up to 30 right away. Okay, this is a good start. This is one of our better ways to race them here. Fast Teemo level. They're taking like 1 damage on average per card they draw is a big deal. Hey, Fisherman. I hope that everything ends up okay for your wife. Sorry to hear that.
Beware the dragon spirit.
Really unfortunate that I can't Harsh Winds here. I assume they're going to play a spell and give this challenger and eat my Teemo here.
a mushroom. Have 3.
I've heard about you.
Our enemies cannot hide.
They follow the wrong master.
My lands need me. Prepare yourself.
Yep. So this gives their thing the challenger mechanic till end of turn. So that means it can force by things to block it. Yeah, at least champion spell upgrade's a big deal.
They grow up so fast.
Think we needed to get one more hit in with Teemo to have a real shot to race here. We'll see. If we can find another Teemo next turn, we might be okay. But definitely feeling like this one's slipping away from us here.
Investigating officer, Unit 6.
We have Harsh Wind, so like if they don't have Bastion, Harsh Winds can buy us a couple of turns with these. Nah, I think playing out Puffcat Peddler is correct because it only gets punished by exactly Lee Sin's champion spell. And like, if they challenge the Puffcat Peddler with Lee Sin rather than Teemo, I think that's a win for us overall. Like, I'd rather have Teemo than the Puffcat Peddler. Yeah, this game is likely going to be decided by whether or not they have Bastion here. So if they have Bastion to give this spell shield, so we can't interact with it, we're going to die. But if they don't have Bastion, we should be able to buy ourselves enough time here, hopefully with the Frostbites to win the game.
Looks like I'm ready.
Bye-bye. Our enemies cannot hide.
Only the worthy survive.
Strike firm. Center your spirit. I'll see this through.
We go as one.
Alright, so I think I let this die and stop the lifesteal here. So Zed also dies here because we're wiping the attack off him, so that's nice. This draws us extra cards when we play 2 drops. That was a good one. I think we're starting with Starlit Seer here. Okay.
Sunlight guiding my brethren.
There was a little fella asking for me.
Oh, come on now. If high-rolling Teemo Mushrooms isn't an appropriate spot for the Teemo tongue, what is, really? Do I just pass here now? I think I just pass and burn their mana, right? I do not, Heinstein. I'm playing Runeterra because I like it as a game, not because it got some kind of promotion going for it. You check it out, though, and have any questions, feel free to ask in chat. Game's a lot of fun. Yeah, like, we're not losing any mana there, right? We get to save up to 3 mana across turns. Alright, so... Am I supposed to preemptively Harsh Winds this? Because, like, the only way I lose is this getting really... Okay, I can let this happen. And they draw Zenith Blade. You think I want to pass here? I have 11 total mana. Do I want to play? I kind of want to play this out. If I play this out, it's not leveled yet, but it's going to level this turn. I think I just Harsh Winds these. Because Bastion is also a burst speed spell, chat. If they preemptively Bastion, I could just die. So I think I do this. I think I preemptively do this so I don't... There is a reason to act now. If they have Bastion, they could literally combo kill us and I could no longer interact with it. Like, they just play a bunch of burst speed spells out, get it up to 7 power, and kill us this turn. So there is an incredible reason to do what I'm doing now. There's a little bit of Puffcat Peddler and Jump Wump here are getting nice and cozy together. They're getting all cuddled up on this cold fall day.
Conflict is all in the mind.
Yeah, you cannot... The way the priority system in Runeterra works is you cannot Mystic Shot and then Frostbite through Spell Shield. So I think there's a chance if I can make it through to my next turn, we can kill our opponent with Puff Cap. So I'm just like thinking about, okay, how do I lose this game? The answer is they level up Lee Sin at burst speed, including a Bastion, and combo kill me. So I want to Harsh Winds proactively to play around my lose condition here. Because I think if we don't hit our lose condition this turn, we're incredibly likely to win this game. Hey, look, chat. It's the Bastion we played around.
The dragon spirit awakens.
Because while this can attack and Dragon's Rage something this turn, we only take 4 now, right?
Center your spirit. Here comes.
Alright, so they're at 20... They're at 24 cards, 34 Puff Caps. How are we maximizing Puff Cap Plantage? Probably just replaying this and then playing a bunch of spells, right?
Oh, if mushrooms could talk.
Or whoops, am I right?
So this'll plant 3, this'll plant 8.
I will not hold back.
Hush is rude.
Conflict is all in the mind.
Yeah, I definitely want to kill the 4-2 with Lifesteal now.
Okay. An auspicious season.
And we're probably dead to this next turn, unfortunately. You would have saved it for their face. That's a good point. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right, we should have hit their face. Am I supposed to swing all? Yeah, probably. Do I do this first? I think I do this first, right? And make them have another blocker. Yachts. Nice proactive hushes there, opponent. Nice proactive hushes. All right. Quality back and forth there. Played to our outs and got rewarded. Good clean game of Runeterra. The Harsh Winds turn, I think, is a really good important example of thinking through what your permutations are of how you lose, and then asking yourself, okay, can I play around them and how? And again, in Runeterra, you can respond to slow speed spells and fast speed spells, but burst spells you cannot. So the reason why we had to Harsh Winds that turn proactively was because explicitly Bastion is burst speed. Vi, Heimerdinger, Target. Interesting. So almost assuredly a control deck. we're mulliganing these two. Mulligan the Eager Apprentice. Do you want to keep Puffcat Peddler? This guy gets going, stacking caps in their deck sounds good. Drawing both our Tavern Keepers in the control matchup feels real bad. We don't have plays on the early turns here, but again, one of the things that's awesome about Runeterra is its resource system. So you see both my opponent and I just banked our mana up here the first few turns of the game. If they attack with this, I am not blocking because I do not want to trade my Puffcat Peddler for a 1/2 plus a Mystic Shot.
There was a little fella asking for me.
Or Pale Cascade. Yep, Cascade is another good one to be playing around here. And back Combat. Thanks for re-upping that Prime support. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. We did beat the Lee Sin deck at Zentoth by the skin of our teeth.
Where I'd paint my constellation.
Just barely, but we did it.
Another day in the field.
Another day in the field. Violet Journey, thank you for the 19 months of Prime support. I appreciate you dropping off those Bezo bucks again this month. Wouldn't be here day in and day out without the support of folks like you. Think I'm sitting on these for now still. I want to get some triggers off of them. Hoping to not get hushed here. Just a Mystic Shot. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Their attack last turn kind of implied they had a Mystic Shot. Maybe because of that, I'm supposed to attack with these this turn. It's a great pickup.
I'm a peddler, not a meddler.
I'm going to go ahead and block this time through. Because they've already burned one Mystic Shot, so they're less likely to have another. Yodel in uniform. Good morning to everybody dropping in here today, by the way. Up to almost 500 folks. I know I've been a little bit back and forth on how much Runeterra content I'm doing. I've decided to take the dive in to doing more Runeterra stuff for all of October. I see some people using the Magic command in chat. So every Monday through Friday for the entirety of this month, I'm going to be doing Runeterra every single morning and only Runeterra. And if that ends up going well and it looks sustainable, I plan to continue making that my content moving forward. Thanks, Zach. And this is one of the things that's actually kind of sweet against control decks. Remember, Tavern Keeper isn't just you, it can also heal allies. So I think I Tavern Keeper this guy back up to a 3/3 here.
What seems to be the problem?
So here's Heimer. Heimer's a card that's kind of fallen out of favor, so newer folks might not be aware of what he does. Every time they cast a spell, they create a fleeting turret that has different stats and abilities based on the cost of the spell. And these turrets are all free the turn they generate them. So they're either 2/1 tough, fearsome, overwhelm, quick attack, elusive, etc. What do I want to do here? Gosh, I think I might just like... I think I might actually just attack to start before they can start putting stuff down. Get some pressure going here.
Believe or burn.
Hold still.
The viewer count is hurting since it's not Magic. Viewer count doesn't really matter. It matters to a degree, but not as directly. So for people that are new, this is my full-time gig, and I talk about the business back of it quite frequently on stream. My plans for this month are to see what my subscriber count does, doing all Runeterra and variety stuff in the evenings. And while I've been doing Magic as a full-time job, I've maintained about 2,500 concurrent Twitch subscribers. I don't need that many for this to be a job. So after talking through our budgets and finances with my wife, we've decided that if I can maintain 1,500 concurrent Twitch subscribers doing Runeterra stuff, I intend to move into doing Runeterra as my primary content. So, well, running this month as a touch of an experiment to see how that goes. And if it's sustainable, I intend to move in that direction. Deleted, thank you for the half a year of support. I appreciate the prime. Welcome back.
My pretties.
Is there good cash tournaments? Runeterra just announced that they are going to be adding seasonal tournaments to every server region that the game has, which there are currently 4 server regions, I believe. I don't believe they've shared the prize pool yet for them. Can anybody correct me if I'm wrong on that?
Investigating officer.
Wolfwood, thank you for the 23 months of Prime. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And Sniper, thanks for the 13.
Happy to do whatever's needed.
Oh, that's a tilt. So this is a fleeting card that gets drawn from this. So unfortunately, I'm going to lose this card at end of turn. And again, even though this costs 4, I can't play it because 3 of my mana here is spell mana. Hey, thanks, Reclaimer. I appreciate the 14 months. Welcome back. These are fearsome, so they can only be blocked by things with 3+ attack. I think we easily trade these off here. How many puff caps do they have? They currently have 32 and 28 cards. So we're averaging about 1 point of damage per card drawn, basically, here. Morning Insane.
It's smaller than the diagram.
Yeah, I agree, Socio Penguin. I'm not super interested in doing a ladder grind either, but I am interested to see how their qualifiers are going to work. Because I will definitely play, like, individual qualifying tournaments to try and play in their stuff, but I don't expect to grind ladder here on stream. So, I have 11 total mana here. I think that means I want to play this out before I play this. Nah, probably not. Because if I play this and then this, and I draw like a 4 mana fleeting card again, I'll be really sad. So I'm going to go ahead and lead on this, and perfect. So this card, when you have a lot of 2s in your deck, this card lets you chain through your deck really sweetly here. So this card makes both players draw when it comes into play. So I'm going to go ahead and load them up with puff caps here before I play this.
What seems to be the situation?
Just in time. I found something.
So opponent's got 48 puff caps and 26 cards here. This is fleeting, so it's going to go away again. So we'll play this out over this and make them draw another card. There's a Teemo for down the line.
Still taking notes. There's criminals to pursue.
Logic and caution.
Man, they just draw 2 cards in a row with no puff caps out of their deck. They have an elusive champion, chat. So, Earlmeister, if you're new to my content here, this deck is almost verbatim a viewer submission. We're two cards off of what the original viewer submission was, but the core of this deck, like most of the decks that we play here, is something that one of my wonderful subs sent in. A lot of the decks we play here every morning tend to be viewer submissions. Okay, so we are definitely, well, now we're not definitely anything. That's super unfortunate. So I was going to say we're definitely harsh winsing this, but now that's no longer an option because it's a spell shield. That's probably the game.
Beg your pardon. I'll recite your rights.
We could block it and shoot our own guy. Yeah, that's a good line. Okay. It means we don't have this as a form of reach, but that's still okay.
And that would mean...
So similar to Magic, because this doesn't have Overwhelm, we get to block and kill this, and then this doesn't deal the rest of its damage to us. It's kind of like making it deal 7. It is kind of like making it deal 7. And then this has Plunder this turn, so let's go ahead and do this.
We see through all.
Investigator is definitely doing the Lord's work on this board. It's a big team. It's only a 2-2.
Here beyond.
Almost groundbreaking adventure.
Success is planting your mushrooms right. Reporting in.
Yes, again.
Maybe I'm just supposed to shoot them with this. I could go either way. The Investigator has drawn a lot of cards. Big agree. Hey, Erdian, thanks for the tip. For Tarek Brahm, sounds good. I'll get that added to the deck queue after we're done today. I think we start with Eager Apprentice, right? Or do I start with this because it makes my things bigger? Starting with Eager Apprentice is appealing because this will generate spell mana that we'll use with this. All right.
I'm on it.
They are targeted, so we could see bits of healing here still. We are averaging 2 points of damage per card that they draw, though, which is nice.
The facts fall into place.
Blessed by snow and stars.
They have 2 elusives. Might be right to shuffle Teemo back so we could loop it. That's actually true, huh? That's a good observation.
I love the smell of mushrooms in the morning.
An auspicious season.
Hey, First Glitch, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. I wouldn't be here without the support of folks like you. Yeah, we can use this Harsh Winds to pop these spell shields here. Actually, do we really need to pop his spell shield? I think we're going to attack with Teemo. They'll block with an elusive, and then we'll Harsh Winds the one they're blocking with as well as this to pop the spell shield on it. And then next turn we can Harsh Winds this to not take damage from it. Yep. Flash of Brilliance created this card. Brutal. Now we are shooting their face. That is correct.
Blessed by snow and stars.
Yes, of course.
An auspicious.
At least the animation is great. At least the animation is great. Are we dead on board next turn? They have 8. Yeah, we're dead. We're dead to that one. Yes! Nailed it! Listen, chat, I don't know if this deck is good, but it's certainly great. It is certainly great. It's always nice when you have live draws off both players' decks, huh? Exactly 4. Easy game. A true skill game we play. Teemo is a very good esports card. Teemo is very esports ready, chat. All right, Turbo Sajani is kind of scary. These decks tend to have a lot of removal in them. I think I asked you for a deck recommendation on Friday. Found out I had $5 left over. Really appreciate you sending it this way, Glitch. Thanks for keeping me around. Forget Freeman. Thanks for the 19 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think we're going to mulligan everything but Clumpwumps here. Clumpwump's a good early blocker. Their deck tends to be aggressive, so both of these champions level when they've damaged our Nexus 5 different times. None of these are the Teemo we were looking for. There it is. Cleverly left it as the 5th card in my deck to build suspense. He's about to get parlayed, isn't he? Poor Teemo. Poor Teemo. He was just an innocent little mushroom cap guy, chap. He had so much to live for.
Let's get him, crew.
Nothing like the stink of blood and sweat. The dead don't need ritual.
This card seems real good in their archetype. It's like a not quite misfortune for one.
2, 3, 4. Signing off.
Alright, so before we play the next Teemo, we'll be sure to level him up.
In range.
I'm gonna open out attacks here. Opponent is, this is turn 4, and my opponent's champions are 4 out of 5 towards leveling up here. So their deck is doing exactly what it wants to be doing. Alright, so now the question is, do I turbo Teemo here, or do I play these out first? I think I want to play these out first. Runeterra just announced that they're going to be starting pushing into a competitive scene. So there's going to be a seasonal tournament at the end of this year that they haven't fully announced the details for yet, but we should be getting soon. And then I imagine those will continue to expand into next year. They announced they're going to have full in-client tournament support coming to Runeterra, and they're going to have spectator mode being added this year.
Who goes that?
So I imagine all of that means that we are headed in that direction.
Blessed by snow and stars.
Okay?
Lucky you. I'm the last thing you'll see.
Like a fish in water.
Alright, so do I... These block my Teemo, which is sad. So I think I need to shoot through them.
An auspicious season.
Let's do this.
Blessed by snow and stars.
So opponent's up to 31 buff caps here. Remember, every spell we play is adding 6. Am I offering this trade?
Take it up with my friends.
Warm hearts and hot soups. This will be a good winter.
Oh, that's true. I should have entreated first, because if Teemo had the pumps... Teemo did not have the pumps yet. We're actually out of Teemos here, so I'm literally just playing that to give +1/+1 and plant some caps. Does he have enough to level up? He does. Yeah, we have managed to plant 15 caps.
Only the strong survive. You own what you take.
Yeah, so Sajani... I think we're dead, right? Sajani's leveled mode says the first time they damage our Nexus each round, they frostbite all of our stuff. So when they attack with Crackshot Corsair here, it's going to deal 1 to us, which will trigger this. The deck building intricacies in this game, similar to MTG. I remember you saying the limitations were something you didn't like about a game like Hearthstone. Yes, so there's a lot of different permutations and deck building you could do with Runeterra. It's one of the reasons why I've ended up sticking with it, Bib. So there are currently 8 regions or factions in Runeterra, and you can mix and match up to 2 regions in your deck however you want, and they're going to be adding, I believe, 2 more regions over the course of the next year as well. So there will eventually be 10 different combinations that you can mix and match with things in your deck. So while you can't do 3, 4, or 5 color things like you can in Magic, you'll be able to do combinations of 2 from a pool of 10. There are also some custom game modes where they go up to 3 regions, like some of the Singleton gauntlets they've done support 3 region stuff, so there's a lot of flexibility where they can add custom other modes too that allow you to mix and match cards in interesting ways. Even though Runeterra's card pool right now is on the smaller side, I actually think Runeterra's card pool has more playable cards in it right now than Magic Standard format has on average, because Magic Standard format, even though it has a high number of cards, the total number of playable cards in Magic tends to be quite low on average. Whereas Runeterra, they try and balance their game so most cards end up being constructed playable. Alright, opponent playing Garen Fiora. So this is not quite an established deck, a bit of a brew. We see they have Targon as their second region here. Fiora is an alt win-con champion that Challenger and levels when she kills things. So Challenger makes things force block her, and then if she kills 4 things after leveling up, she wins the game. I think I'm going to keep these. I'm going to mulligan this, keeping a little unit. Fiora's probably going to be kind of tough for us here. Challenger units are very good at killing Teemo. Teemo kind of tries to survive by virtue of not being blocked.
Excuse me?
Sweet curve here. So Eager Apprentice, when it comes into play, it gives us 2 spell mana. So we played this on 2, got in a hit with it for Plunder, and then can immediately play Shared Spoils here, which is nice. So Shared Spoils gives the top 3 units in our deck +1/+1 permanently, and then because we plundered hitting them this turn, we get to draw one of them. Which is great. Teemo's just a little snack for Fiora. Yeah, that's an accurate assessment.
By my honor, you must die.
By my honor. Do I play this out and give them the chance to hook it with Fiora? I don't think so. I think I just passed. We're probably going to attack and challenge this. Like I said, our deck's a little bit soft to Fiora as a whole. So if she kills 1 more thing, she gets to level up. And then if she kills 4 things, she wins the game outright.
mask, secure me tail, start the day.
Chump Wumps here. For those of you that didn't hear the voice line, he has good advice for how you should be living your life in our pandemic world. Put on your mask, secure your tail, start your day.
If only Fiora could see me now.
She can. She's not impressed.
I've got your back.
You think we need more alt win con cards in Runeterra? I think need is a strong word. I hope they eventually add more alt win con cards, because I think they're a really sweet aspect to have in the game, but I don't think they're like a strict requirement.
Here beyond.
Today, base camp. Tomorrow, the summit.
Tomorrow, the summit. Alright, let's play out Eager Apprentice here, because it restores our mana. Then we're going to play a bunch of spells here.
I won't stop now.
Strike quickly, strike deftly.
So they gave her a barrier, which means she doesn't take damage the first time this round. I am going to go ahead and Mystic Shot her, trying to kill her, but I'm kind of expecting that not to work.
You are toast. Hardly fair. Let's not ruffle our feathers.
Best not to ruffle our feathers.
Oh, that's a harvest right there. They grow up so fast.
An auspicious season.
Any comments on the rumors that your mods ban people left and right for merely disagreeing with them, not even with you? I think if you're someone that takes a timeout in Twitch chat very personally, this isn't the channel for you. I think getting timed out in Twitch chat is not a big deal. And if you think it's a big deal, I would recommend changing the channel. That being said, you probably won't get timed out in my Twitch channel if you're reasonable most of the time. A lot of people, the Jeff times out people who disagrees with him, largely comes from the fact that there are a lot of people out there. You're talking about bans, not timeouts. I do ban people who get upset that they get timed out, because like I just said, if you're someone that gets upset that you got timed out, you're not going to be a good culture fit for this channel. That's also true too. Mods basically don't ban anybody. I ban plenty of people. This idea that people should be entitled to chat wherever they want on the internet and there should be no repercussions for their actions is nonsense, and it's not what I subscribe to. The other thing that I was talking about is that there are a lot of people who think that if you're correct, you should just get to be correct and not help people learn why you're correct. So, for example, something I do frequently that upsets people is that when someone says, "Hey Jeff, that card's bad," I time them out. Because all they said was that card's bad, they didn't help anybody learn why that card was bad, and that really upsets some people.
Be a good winter.
Of course you can, Fox. We aim to please. I really think a lot of people would be a lot better off if they didn't tie their self-worth to their ability to comment in some random person's Twitch chat.
It's yours.
Yeah, we time people out for saying the opponent misplayed or shouting, "Hey, there's lethal." There are a lot of things that are low effort takes that are okay in other places on Twitch that I time people out for here because I don't want them cluttering up my chat. My goal is to not have my chat be a slew of Keck W's and memes. Why did I hit their face instead of their Fiora? Because they were incredibly likely to have a way to protect their Fiora that turn, and I explicitly wanted to trigger Plunder on my shared spoils. was my goal through my sequencing that turn. I have 9 mana total here. Let's play an 8/8 Tavern Keeper and heal this back up. And then we can Harsh Winds the Fiora this turn.
Follow the horizon. You call this a fight? Aha!
No time to rest.
On guard. I've carved meat bigger than you. An auspicious season.
We'll see if they have the ability to pump up the attack on Fiora here or not.
Just be.
Actually, that was a pretty incredible high roll. There were only 18 puff caps and 28 cards. What do you think of the changes to Bastion? I actually really like the changes to Bastion in general, but I think the changes to Bastion highlight further the issues with Lee Sin. So, while I think Bastion is probably fine as it is, I think it really highlights how not interactive Lee Sin tends to be. I think you could probably make the argument that Bastion feels like it should be 4 mana now. Like, the fact that you can play Bastion with just spell mana might be a little bit over the top, I think. But in general, I think it's reasonable.
This would be a good winter. We see through all.
What do I feel about the bi-monthly expansion release structure? I think it's super reasonable. As someone that's been making card game content for a long time, about the 6-week mark is about where players tend to get bored and start looking for other things. So I think it's actually really smart on Riot's part to plan to inject new cards into the game every 7 to 8 weeks or so. I think that shows that they understand how the markets for these games tend to work and how player interest tends to hold. Oh, yeah, I probably should just put the puff cap in, huh? They've got some barriers, chat. This Harsh Winds is going to be real good.
An auspicious season. This would be a good winter.
In general, Vayne, I'd prefer if you don't use terms like cancerous or cancer to describe things in the card game that we play. Cancer is something that's pretty terrible, and in general, I don't think it's reasonable to equate things related to that to things in the card game that people are just playing for fun. No worries.
Snow and stars.
You're fine. Just letting you know. Mr. One, thank you for the 15 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You think shields of any kind should just be for that round? I don't think that's strictly true. I really don't mind spell shield lasting through the turn. I really don't. Alright, so
Fly away while you can.
none of their things are dying, obviously, because they have barriers, but I don't think I want to take a hit here.
Nothing like the great out.
Starlit Seer is a very powerful card, I agree. It's a big part of why Twisted Fizz is good. It's a single combat. Rally! That's not too big of a deal, right?
Let's not ruffle our feathers.
I think Bastion should be fast. Yeah, maybe. I think in my current opinion on Bastion is that I would probably make it cost 4 mana, and I would change how Lee Sin works. So I think Bastion is largely fine as is with a small mana increase, so you can't play it for just spell mana. Similar to how Deny is fine at 4 mana. They probably have a single combat or a strike here, and we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Really? That's a rally. Yeah, that being said, they're still at 6 here, so like...
Let's talk about your death. Fly away while you can.
No mushrooms.
Fiora is 2 kills away now. So if they have another rally, we are dead here. You have the 3rd rally? Yeah, that's rough. Close, close. Ooh, did we get our card back? We got our Freljord card back. Nice. Nice. What region card back do we want? Do we want to get next? What's the Iona one look like? It's a nice one. Let's activate this region. I like the Iona one. It's got a little dragon swirl on it. Alright, as far as this deck is concerned, I feel like a question on my mind looking at how this deck plays out. One question on my mind is, how does this compare to the Frozen Mushrooms archetype, that Sejanni Teemo deck that was seeing some play in the previous seasons? The big payoff we get for not playing Sejanni is having a little bit more ready access to Teemo early with Entreat, and then we're also leaning on Insightful Investigator to generate some card advantage with this. I feel like I would probably expect this to have a little bit of... I kind of expect this to have a little bit of more polarized matchups than the Frozen Mushrooms build would have. And I think we explicitly saw that in that last matchup where we played against the Fiora deck, where because our deck is all in on kind of the tiny unit style game plan, it's tough to have counterplay against things like the challenger units like Fiora, where they're really protecting them like that. Might want more removal or board control, especially if they run elusives. Yeah, that could, and like, that's something that Sejanni helps, right? Like, I agree, we ran into that problem against some of the pirate decks where they had things like Zap Spray Fin, and we don't really have a good way to take Zaps out of the way. So, the Teemo plan in general feels reasonable, but I feel like I'm not convinced at a glance that this build with Entreat is necessarily better than playing Sejanni, especially because she's just so powerful when she gets leveled up here. Someone asking, I pretty much only play Constructed here, so most of the stream that I do is decks that viewers have submitted. You can always find the deck queue up there on my website. So like, for example, there's currently almost a dozen Runeterra decks waiting to be played, and I play each deck for about 60 to 90 minutes, and then we shift to the second deck afterwards. So right now, actually, I'm going to go ahead and get things flipped over and get this previous segment uploading to YouTube for folks, and we'll start off with that in just a second.